How's it going, everybody? Today I'm going to give you a short description on lift. If you want a more detailed explanation, I'll leave a link in the description by Steve Buckenroth. He does a fantastic job explaining lift. All right, now there's two key components to lift. It's Bernoulli's principle and Newton's third law. Now, Bernoulli's principle states that as the velocity of a fluid or gas increases, its pressure decreases, and vice versa. Now, right here, I have a little picture of a venturi. So you have airflow traveling in through the venturi right here, and then comes here, and it speeds up. And then what that does is it decreases its pressure. All right. Now, same thing with our wing, right? So we have relative wind traveling this way, and relative wind, all it is it's wind that travels parallel and opposite to the path of the aircraft. Now we have wind that goes up and hits to the trailing edge, and we have wind that comes down and also hits the trailing edge. Now the airflow on the top, right, hits this camber, right, and it speeds up as it comes down, right? And what that does is, like we stated before, right, if that airflow speeds up, it decreases its pressure, right? So we have low pressure on the top, high pressure on the bottom, right? Cool. All right, now this high pressure seeks low pressure, which means we have an upward force. And that's Bernoulli's principle. All right. So, just to recap, Bernoulli's principle, all it is it's a pressure difference between high pressure on the bottom and low pressure on the top, right? And high pressure seeks low pressure, so we have an upward force, right? And that airflow traveling over our wing speeds up as it travels down to the trailing edge, which increases its velocity, and that's what creates that low pressure and that difference in pressure between the bottom and the top of the wing. All right, Newton's third law. Newton's third law states that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. All right, so we have our wing, all right, we have relative wind. Now, like I said, right, that airflow travels up and down, right? Now, this down airflow is called downwash, right? Now, this downwash travels down and aft. Well, this force has an equal and opposite reaction, which is up and forward. Up and forward. And that's Newton's third law. So, just a little recap. Bernoulli's principle provides lift by explaining the pressure difference of high pressure on the bottom and low pressure on the top of the wing. How do we get that? Well, as the velocity of a fluid or gas increases, its pressure decreases. The airflow that travels up and down the top of the wing, right, it speeds up, increasing its pressure. And that's how we get lift from Bernoulli's principle. Newton's third law, right, we have air that travels over and down, right, and that's called downwash. That down and aft force has an equal and opposite upward and forward force, and that's how we get lift through Newton's third law. All right, that's a quick description of lift. If you have any questions, I will leave a link of Steve Buckenroth's lift video in the description. Hope you guys all have a great day. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.